Alright, welcome back to another on-base baseball video. My name is Brian Hafferkamp. I'm the designer and creator of On-Base Baseball, and in this video I'm going to be dropping you into a series that I've been playing offline. This is the 1980 ALCS. So the Yankees in this one lead. It's a best of 5, and the Yankees lead 2-1. I'll do a little quick recap here. Game 1, 11-6 went to the Yankees. There was a huge 6th inning here. Otherwise, the game was pretty tight throughout. Kansas City scored 5 in the last 2 innings, including an RBI triple by George Brett. Willie Wilson had a nice game. Gura, who started the game, had a really rough time. 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs. Steve Busby came in and did not do anything to help matters. Ron Guidry almost he was going for a complete game, and he wound up giving him 5 runs. Doug Bird came in and shut things down. So they had taken a 2-1 lead in game 2. I don't have everything here, but the final score of game 2 was 4-3. So Kansas City came back and won game 2. So they split at home. Game 3, I was keeping track of these. On using the Green Fox spreadsheet, score sheet, and so I was doing it right on the computer. The first game I did by hand, and then I input it into the computer. So I'll have to do that with this game that we're doing. Splittorf started game 2. It was okay for a while. The Yankees wound up winning that one 11-6 as well. So the Yankees have what feels like a pretty commanding lead in this one. Make sure I get everything right on the screen. They feel like they have a pretty commanding lead, but Kansas City has surprised me every time. Now we're getting into uncharted territory. Kansas City won this actual series 3-0, so don't really have anything to go off of other than just what the teams have been using before. I'm going to go with Tom Underwood and Rich Gale. Is his name Rich? I think that's right. Something Gale. Rich Gale. I am using the roster sheets for 1980. And where do you get that series, you ask? Or that season set? Well, you can't get it yet, but you will be able to soon. So this is a new set I'm working on and testing through it, and I'll probably do the National League Championship Series too, and then the World Series for 1980. So I'll be looking for those. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. It's Tom Underwood. He's got a 3.68 FIP. So both pitchers will be pitching out of this second column here. He's a 4.08. Gale is, and he can go 20 batters. Gale can go 25. So expecting some relief pitching to come in to play in this one. So this is going to be, and we're playing straight off the score sheet here. So that's how we play with the roster sheet sets, is we take all of our values here. So you can see our, you can't see it very well, but batting, defense, and speed are these 3 columns here. We have how each batter bats, and then their main position. We take those and we transfer them to the score sheet, and then we use the game engine chart, which is here. Normally the game engine chart is goes onto each card. So for a guy who is in this final column here, less than 5, that basically this chart here, which would be not this one exactly, but a different decade, would go printed onto here. So if I were to print out the cards for the 1980s, and we had Willie Wilson, who's an 11, he would have this column printed onto his card here. So that's how the cards and the roster sheets work. They're the exact same thing, just 2 different ways to play using the exact same figures. So first roll here, we're going to need to re-roll there. So this is a 14. 14 for a player in this column is blank. So then we go over to the batter. 14 to an 11 is going to be a base hit. So Willie Wilson on with a single, and that's a base knock into right center. Let's go ahead and try to steal with him 1 to 9. He's going to be safe. It's a 9, and he's in there with a stolen base. So Willie Wilson at second base in scoring position for UL Washington. Excuse me, a 34 to a -2. That's going to be a long single. Because his speed is a 7, UL Washington, he's going to turn that into a hustle double. That's going to score this run from second. And just like that, the Royals take a quick 1-0 lead. There's been a lot more offense in this series than in the actual. I'm not sure how good offensive teams each of these teams were. I'd have to look that up. But 15, I wasn't so old in 1980. I didn't watch this, so I don't think I did. 15 is going to be 15 to a 60 batting runs as a ground out. That's a 3, so that's going to be a ground out to first base. It'll be a little toss to the pitcher covering, and that's out number 1. Going to third base on the fielder's choice is UL Washington. Hal McRae to the plate, 34. This is going to be another opportunity, I think. 34 to a 14 batting runs is a fly out. So that's a fly ball out into left center field. So we'll go F7, that's out number 2. I'm going to try and tag up here. Some of the results here have like an auto advance, but on most flyouts you can tag up. Since his speed is a 7, we're going to try that. He's got a 70% chance of making it home. So 1 to 7, he'll be safe, and that'll be 2 runs. Oh, but he gets thrown out. So that's a catch 'em double play. So that's a 7-2 on the put out. That's out number 3, and that's going to end the inning. So tough one there for the Royals, as they had a fast guy at third. He gets gunned down trying to score, and it's a 1-0 lead for Kansas City on the road in the Bronx. They have to win this one. If the Yankees win, they're going to win it the entire series. So 23 to a person here. 24 is the only result we have something. So 23 to a 30 batting runs, which is what Willie Randolph is. It's going to be a ground out with an error check. So ground out to the third baseman. No error on the play. There are only errors if you roll a 1 or a 2. So if it's not a 1 or a 2, you can just kind of quickly move on. Bucky Dent, he's a -5 batting runs. A 13 to a -5 is going to be another ground out. This to the third baseman again. No problem at third for George Brett. 55 to Bob Watson. Watson is a 17, so that's going to be a double play or a strikeout. Since there's no double play in order, that's going to be a strikeout, and that will be a strikeout swinging. So if it's a 1 to 6, it's a strikeout swinging. 7, 8, or 9, it's a strikeout looking. So 1, 2, 3 inning there for Rich Gale. We head to the top of the second. It's 1-0. I want to say Orioles, but it's the Royals. 46 to a -5 is going to be a strikeout. So Underwood gets his first strike out of the game. 24, we do have an alteration here to the play. So normally 24 for a 10 batting runs would be a double play or a strikeout. Here it's going to turn into a ground out. So pitchers here, because it's a double play or strikeout, they tend to strike out fewer batters, I think, and so make that little change there, and it kind of readjusts the strikeout percentages. So that's going to be a strikeout or a ground out to not to first, but to the pitcher, and he'll go 1-3 on the put out. So 2 outs in the inning. A 36 to a 12 batting runs is going to be a fly ball out. That's out to dead center field. No problem out there for Bobby Brown, who makes the catch. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Underwood. Go to the bottom of the second inning. It's 1-0. Royals over the Yankees. 24. Same thing here. It's going to be a ground out, and that will go to the shortstop. So it's out number 1, as Reggie's been quite quiet in this one. That was Reggie Jackson. Eric Solderholm is the DH. He's a 10 batting runs. So 14 to a 10 is going to be a base knock. That's right up the middle as he bounces it through the infield. And Soderholm is at first. He's just a 2-speed, so not anybody. Willie Randolph is really the only, or Brown and Randolph are the only two really that are gonna, you would even want to try to steal with on this Yankee team. 35 to a 5 batting runs. Is going to be another ground out. This is a ground out to the pitcher. On a regular ground out with no double play, but there's a force out. I always like to take that force out, especially at second base. And so we'll go 1-6 on the fielder's choice. And Cerrone is at first. Brings up Lou Piniella to the plate. Pinella's had a decent series. 26 to a -2 is going to be another ground out. This goes to the second baseman with 2 outs. He'll just make the throw over to first, and that will be out number 3. So the Yankees go down in the second. 1 hit, no walks, no strikeouts, 1 left on, and we head to the top of the 3rd inning. It's Darryl Porter, Frank White, and then back to the top of the order for the Royals, which is 25 to a -3. It is going to be a fly ball with an error check, so it's a fly out to right field. And we check the error. No error on the play. So that's going to be a fly out to right. And that's out number 1. Darryl Porter flies out to Reggie Jackson. 12 is going to be a ground ball. That's right back to the pitcher. And he trots over to first, underhands it to first base, and that'll be out number 2. So we're back to the top of the order with Willie Wilson. Wilson 1 for 2 with a single and a stolen base. 25 to an 11 is going to be another fly out with an error check. So that's a fly ball to left center field. The left fielder is Piniella. Pinella's a minus defender, but he makes the play there as he gets to it and makes the catch. So that's a 3 of 3 down inning for Underwood. So that's the second in a row. And we got a good one here. Kansas City 1, New York 0. This is game 4 of the 1980 ALCS. New York leads 2-1. Looking to put this one away in the Bronx. But Kansas City right now holds the edge. A 45 to Aurelio Rodriguez. Is his name? Aurelio, I think, right? Make sure I call him by his right name. Aurelio Rodriguez. A 45 to a -10 is going to be a long single. So Rodriguez with just a 2 speed. So he takes a big turn but returns to first base. Brings up Brant Brown. A 46 to Bobby Brown. I don't know why I'm thinking Brant. Brant Brown used to play for the Cubs, I believe. So 46. 46 is a blank here, and it's going to go to a -1, and that'll be a double play or a strikeout. And so when the double play is in order, we're going to do that. That's a grounder to 6, which is to the shortstop. So we go 6-4-3. The fielder's choice here. This is 1, this is 2, and that's 2 quick outs in the bottom of the 3rd. 16 is going to be a fly ball. That's out to right center field, and that'll be picked up by the center fielder. It's Amos Otis ranging over into right center field to make the play, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for the Royals. So head to the top of the 4th. Kansas City up 1-0 in this one. Tom Underwood will be facing off against UL Washington, George Brett, and Hal McRae. 14 to a -2 is going to be a hit by pitcher, a walk. This is a 9, so if it's a 2 or greater, it's a walk. And Washington is on first with a walk. We're going to go ahead and send him. He's a 1-7 to make it into second with the steal. It's a 1, and he is going to be safe at second base as Washington slides in easily under the tag. Brings up George Brett with a man in scoring position. A 13 is not going to get it done, as that's going to be a ground out, and that is a grounder to short. Shortstop looks back the runner to second base, and we have one out, and the runner does not move. Hal McRae to the plate, 26. 26 to a 14 is going to be a base hit with an error check. So that's a base hit up the middle. Let's check the error. Possible error on the play. Center fielder is Brown. He's a minus, so that is going to be a single with an error, as Brown can't handle the ball. So we'll go E8. So that's one here for the single, one for the error. And he's going to score on the error. I think that is not going to give him an RBI on that, just because I don't think he would have scored anyway. It wasn't a guarantee. So, but they do get the run, so it's 2-0 Kansas City. Here's a 46 to a -5. 46 to a -5 is another base hit. Oh, sorry. Double play or a strikeout. So with no double play in order, let's go ahead and give him the strikeout. Sorry, I read the wrong result. And so that's going to be 2 outs. 2 down, runner in scoring position for John Wathan. I think that's how you say it, Wathan. Playing right field in this one. He's a 10 batting runs. 46 to a 10 is going to be a line out or a pop out. So this is less than 7. So that's going to be a line drive to the shortstop. Nice play there by Bucky Dent as he makes a catch on the line drive. But Kansas City does put one more on the board. They lead 2-0 as we hit to the bottom of the 4th. Yankees trying to hang in there and put this one away and go to the World Series. That's what we're playing for here. It's Rich Gale against Bucky Dent, Bob Watson, and Reggie Jackson. 56 to a -5 is going to be a strikeout, and that's a strikeout looking. Wrong place. There we go. And Bucky Dent goes down for the second time. Bob Watson also 0 for 1. He struck out in his first time at bat. A 36 to a 17 is going to be a fly out. Ooh, just narrowly misses that home run. Fly out, and that's going to be a fly out to left center field. 2 down now for Reggie Jackson. Reggie grounded out to shortstop in his first at bat. He's going to strike out here. Oh, no, he's not. Look at that. That's going to be a walk, as Reggie takes the walk down to first. He's at first base with 2 outs, and Eric Soderholm is standing in, a 25. To Soderholm is a 10, and so that's going to be a fly out with an error check. So fly out down the right field line, and we check an error on the right field, no error made, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. So the Yankees go down in the 4th. They get one runner to first, but they can't move him around. And it is 2-0 Kansas City as we head to the top of the 5th. Stamina for Underwood is 20. He's not to 18 yet, so he's doing fine. A 56 is going to be a, well, let's see what it is. To a -3, a 56 is going to be a strikeout. Yeah. Sorry, to a 12. To a 12, a 56 is going to be a walk. Man, I just mangled that, didn't I? So let's see about that one. So we got Willie Aikens at first. It would be Darryl Porter, left-handed catcher. 26 to a -3 is going to be a ground out. That goes to short. So we're going to go ahead and do a fielder's choice there. So 6-4, sorry, on the put out, and that's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to be hard to read when I input that, but hopefully it'll make sense. So Porter's at first on the fielder's choice, and that brings up Frank White. White 0 for 1, grounded out to the pitcher's first at bat. 36 to a -18, not a great hitter here. 36 is going to be a fly out. That's out to center field. In center field, Bobby Brown camps under it, and he's got it. I want to say, is it Bobby Brown? I think right. I just want to make sure I'm calling people by their right names. Bobby Brown. Okay. That is 2 down in the inning. No movement from the runner at first. A 26 is going to be 2 and 11. A 26 is going to be a single with an error check. So that's a single to left field. On a line to the left fielder. Let's see if there's an error. There is an error. So it's a single with an error. And we're going to go E7. So what that's going to do is push our runner to third base. And so we've got runners at second and third now for UL Washington, a 36 to a -2. That's going to be a base hit as Washington comes through in the clutch. That's going to be a 2 RBI single as it scores the runner from second and the runner from third. So nice job by Washington as he ropes one over the second baseman's head into right center field, and that's going to be 2 RBIs for him. He's now 2 for 2 with a double, a single, a walk, and 2 RBIs. Smelling player of the game for Washington. 14, that is to a 60, and that's going to be a long single for George Brett. He's actually going to turn that into a hustle double, and that is going to score the run from third as well. So double on the and I think that's going to be it for Tom Underwood. We're going to need to get some relief in here. Let me get in a new relief pitcher for the Yanks. All right, so Rudy May into the game. He's a new pitcher, right-handed batter, 17 stamina. He's got a 2.94 FIP. He replaces Underwood, who goes 3 2/3, gives up 6 hits, and so far 5 runs. We'll see how it goes. A 22, that's going to be really bad. As, he's pitching out of this first column, so 22 is a blank, and a 22 to Hal McRae is going to be a double or a triple. If it's an 8, it is an 8, and that's going to clear the bases as Hal McRae hits a triple into right center field, and that will score the runner from second, which is George Brett. And that closes the book. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs for Tom Underwood. And the Yankees are now down 6-0. 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. A 24 is going to be a blank here. And against a -5, a 24 is going to be a strikeout. So Rudy May closes the door here in the 5th inning. But he does allow one more run as 4 runs. 4 runs come across in the inning, and we head to the bottom of the 5th. It's now 6-0 Kansas City over the Yankees. Rich Gale looking okay. Just keep him in the game. A 25 to a 5 batting runs is going to be a fly out to left center field. Let's check the error on the left fielder. No error on the play. And that's going to be out number 1. Willie Wilson ranges over to make the play. A 23, nothing here, and a 23 to a -2 is going to be a ground out with an error check, so that is to the second baseman. No error at second. And that brings up Aurelio Rodriguez. Rodriguez is 1 for 1. He's going to fly out here, though. That goes out to deep center field. Going back on his horse is the center fielder, Otis, and he'll make a running catch right in front of the warning track. That's a 1-2-3 inning. We'll see. That wasn't a very good 4. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Kansas City as we head to the top of the 6th. It's 6-0 Kansas City in a do-or-die game for the Royals. Still on the mound is Rudy May. May will face off against Wathan, Akins, and Porter. 25 to a 10 is going to be a flyout with an error check, so that goes out to left center field. We check the error on the center fielder, and there is none, and that's going to be out number 1. Brings up Willie Akins. Akins is 0 for 1 with a walk. An 11 is going to be a strikeout off of Rudy May's card. So that's a strikeout swinging off his card, off of his column. 2 quick outs here in the top of the 6th. A 24 to a -3. That's going to be another strikeout as Rudy May gets back-to-back strikeouts to end the inning. That's a 1-2-3 inning for New York against Kansas City, and it's now 6-0. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Gale's still out there. He hasn't even gotten to 18 batters yet, so doing pretty well. He's facing off against Brant Brown. A 24 is going to be a ground out that goes over to the second baseman. A little two-hopper. No problem at second for Frank White as it gets over to the first baseman, Akins, and that'll be out number 1. 1 out here in the 6th. We go back to the top of the order with Willie Randolph. This is going to be a ground out to the third baseman. Hot shot, but played well by George Brett over at third, and they get the speedy Randolph at first. And Bucky Dent, with 2 outs and nobody on, stands in. A 24 is going to be another ground out. This one hit right back to the pitcher. The pitcher turns, fires to first, and a 1-2-3 inning for Rich Gale. Nice job so far for Gale. Is 6 shutout innings in this one. And we head to the top of the 7th. 6-0 is our score. We're using on-base baseball. This is the 1980 ALCS. 45 to a -18 batting runs is a long single. Frank White, with good speed, is actually going to turn that into a hustle double. So look at old Frank. Hits it into the gap, and he turns on the afterburners. He's going to be at first or second base with nobody out. A 46 to an 11. I believe, yeah, it's a 36. So 46 to an 11 batting runs is a line out or a pop out. Now this is a 7, so that's going to be a pop up. And that pop-up goes to first base. No problem at first base for Bob Watson as he squeezes it for the out. That's a P3 on the putout. And we head to the number 2 position in the order, UL Washington. Washington 2 for 2 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored in this one. He's a -2. 45 to a -2 is going to be a single with an error check. So that's a base hit to right center field. Picking it up is a center fielder, but he bobbles it, so that's going to be a single with an E8. And that will score the run from second base, and we'll say he scores on the error. And tough game for the Yankees here as they're down now 7-0. George Brett to the plate. Brett 1 for 3 with an RBI. 56, though, that's going to be a walk. So he's on for the second time. And Hal McRae stands in. McRae 2 for 3 as well. He's got a triple and an RBI. 35 to Hal McRae is going to be a strikeout. So that'll be out number 2. 2 down, 1 already in the 7th. It's now 7-0 Kansas City. And we got runners at first and second with 2 down, and Amos Otis coming to the plate. 36 off of the pitcher column is going to be a walk. So we got the walk in there. Bases loaded now for Wathan. 46 to a 10 is going to be a double play or a strikeout. Don't need the double play with 2 outs, so that's going to be a strikeout swinging as Rudy May shuts the door in this 7th inning. But Kansas City does put 1 on the board. We head to the bottom of the 7th inning. It is 7-0 Kansas City over New York. Now our guy here, Gale, can go 25 before we have to move him a column. He's at 18, 19, 20, so he's good to go. Quick inning, could get him another. This is a fly ball out to the left field line, and that's going to be out number 1. Brings up Reggie. 26 to Reggie Jackson is going to be a base hit as he hits a solid rope up the middle. And Jackson on first, he is 1 for 2. A 35, and that will be to Solderholm, who is 1 for 2. 35 to a 10 will be a strikeout. So that's out number 2. Strikeout number 3 for Rich Gale. And a 24 is going to be a ground out. That goes to short. Easy hop at short. Good throw to first. And the Yankees get one on, but they can't move them around. And that has been the game for them. They've had a couple of 11-run games, but here they're being held down by Rich Gale, who is coming up big for Kansas City. Trying to force a Game 5, a deciding Game 5, that would be back in Kansas City. So 2 in Kansas City, 2 in New York, and then 1 back in Kansas City. We've got Aikens up. So this is 10, 11, 12. Rudy May really taking it for the team here and pitching well. He's only given up 1 run, so we'll leave him in the game for now. Willie Aikens to the plate. He is a 12 batting runs. So a 14 to a 12 is going to be a base hit. That is hit over the shortstop's head into left center field, and Aikens aboard for the second time in this game. A 34 to a -3. That's Darryl Porter, so that's going to be a long single, and with a 2 speed, he's going to stay at first base. But what the long single does is, with less than 2 outs, it allows the runner to advance to 1 extra base. So that's going to bring up Frank White, 2 on, nobody out. This is a ground ball, a little tapper to the shortstop. The only play is going to be to first base. It is a ground out with runner advancement. So they're going to get the out at first, but all the runners are going to advance on the play. And that's going to be an RBI ground out for Frank White. It's now 8-0, Kansas City over New York. 16, that's going to be a fly out with a runner advance. So that's going to be a fly out deep to left field, right at the wall in left field. That'll be a catch for the out. With a runner at second base, that runner is going to advance on the F7. And we have a runner at third base now with 2 outs. UL Washington to the plate. He's been everything. He is, that was a single with an error. So he's 3 for 3. A walk, 2 singles, a double. He's got 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. And at this point, is vying for player of the game. A 44 is nothing for the pitcher's side, and for a -2, that's going to be a fly out. So they finally get him out as he flies out to center field to end the inning. Catching it in center is Bobby Brown, and the Royals put 1 more on the board. They lead 8-0 in this one, and we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. So 27, 26, 25, 24. Gale can go 25 before we have to move him. So he's going to go 1 more inning. And we're just going to let him go out there. I don't know, maybe even a complete game. Who knows? 66 to a -2. And that's going to be a walk. Wrong place. So standing at first is Lou Piniella with the walk. He's on for the first time. Brings up Aurelio Rodriguez. He's 1 for 2 with a single. A 13 is going to be a ground out to the second baseman. Going to take that fielder's choice at second, but that's all they get. And we go 4-6 on the putout. Aurelio Rodriguez now at first base with 1 out. Brings up Bobby Brown. 23 to Bobby Brown is a -1. So that's a ground out with an error check. That's a ground out to short. Possible error on the shortstop. He's a plus, though, so Washington makes the play. Another fielder's choice, going to go 6-4 on that. And we have a fast runner at first, but they're down 8-0, so I don't think there's any need to try to steal there. Willie Randolph is up to the plate, a 44 to a 30-plus batting runs. Player is going to be a base hit, and that is hit down the left field line. With 2 outs, the runner will go to third. And we got runners at the corners with 2 out and Bucky Dent to the plate. An 11 to Bucky Dent. He is a -5, and that is a home run. So Bucky Dent gets a hold of one, pokes it out, and that's a 3-run shot. That gets the Yankees a little closer and gives them just a little bit of life as he brings home 2 runs, and it's now 8-3. Gale still in there. Bob Watson, a 36 to a 17, is going to be a fly ball that goes down the left field line. Hustling to the line and catching it just in fair territory is Willie Wilson. That's going to be out number 3. But the big blow is Bucky Dent, who comes through in the 8th inning, and we have a 8-3 ball game. So we are at 10, 20, 19, 18. So let's get Goose Gossage in here. He's about the only other guy that they use very much. Ron Davis. Yeah, let's do Ron Davis. How about that? We'll save Goose for probably what's going to be game 5. Davis, 10 and 350. So he'll be pitching out of column number 1 as well. Got a pitcher here. And we have 1/3 plus 1, 2, 3 innings. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ks. So very nicely done for May and Rudy May. And we got Ron Davis, Rick Davis, Ron Davis. What's his name? Ron Davis. Ron Davis coming in for the 9th inning. Let's see if he can shut down this Kansas City offense. It's Brett McRae and Otis. So 24 is a blank here. And 24 to George Brett is going to be a strikeout as he strikes out swinging. That's out number 1. Brings up Hal McRae. This will be a grounder. And it's a little soft grounder right to the bag at first. Taking it to first himself is going to be Bob Watson. That's out number 2. 2 quick outs here in the 9th. And another quick one, as this is a little tapper down the third base line. That's played by Aurelio Rodriguez to come in, glove it, and make a strong throw to first. That's a 1-2-3 inning for Ron Davis against the Royals, and it is 8-3. And we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Let's go and get a new pitcher for Kansas City. Don't necessarily need Gale to stay out there. This column gets pretty rough pretty quick. So I think we just want to close the door here, and we're going to go with Marty Patton. Patton is a right-hander and can go 10, 3.68. He was 4-0 with a 3.64 ERA. He did have 4 saves. So Quisenberry is their save man. We're not quite to that point, but we might get there. And he's going to come in here. 8 innings pitched for Rich Gale. Did an excellent job. 1, 2, 3, 5 hits, 3 runs, couple of walks, and 1, 2, 3 Ks. Excellent work by Rich Gale. He is on the hook for the win. And let's see if Marty Patton can close it out. He'll be facing off against Reggie Jackson, Eric Soderholm, and Rick Cerrone. He is a 3.68, so he's coming out of this column here. So an 11 to Reggie is going to be a walk. Second walk of the game for Mr. October. And he is 1 for 2 with a couple of walks. He's at first base, a 23 to a 10 batting runs. He is going to be a ground out with an error check, so that's a ground out to short. No error on the play, so we're going to take that fielder's choice as second. That's going to be out number 1. We go 6-4 on the putout. That brings up Rick Cerrone, catcher for the Yankees. Cerrone is over 3. He's grounded out twice. 35 to a 5 is going to be another ground out to shortstop. This time we don't have to check the error. We just get that fielder's choice, and we'll go 6-4 again. And last hope for the Yankees in the 9th is Lou Piniella. He's going to hit a little tapper right out in front of the plate. Tough play for the catcher, but he's going to jump out and make the play. Good throw by Darryl Porter to get Lou Piniella at first, and that is your ball game. As the Yankees lose this one by a score of 8-3 at home in the Bronx, and this one is tied at 2 apiece. So that's going to send us to game number 5, deciding game number 5 of this 1980 ALCS. This is using the yet to be released, but soon to be released 1980 season set for on-base baseball. Maybe many of you have been waiting for the 80s, and I'm going to make a commitment to put out more 1980s and 90s seasons. So got a couple from the 70s and some from the 60s, from the 40s, some from a couple from the 90s, and some from quite a few from the most recent baseball seasons too. Some from the 2000s, but not many there. And I'll just concentrate and focus more on the 80s as we go through here. So this will be soon to be released. We'll be releasing the roster sheet sets and the cards. It'll be a full package. You can play however you want to. This is played using the roster sheet set. I'm going to give the player of the game to UL Washington. Although you probably could give it to Rich Gale. I mean, 8 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. Excellent pitching that he provided, an excellent start. So no runs, no hits, no walks, 1K. And for this guy, it is basically the same thing. 1 walk, no strikeouts. And we give our win to Rich Gale. Underwood is going to take the loss in this one. And we get a whole lot of nothing here. And that's going to close us out. So 5 hits for the Yankees, 3 runs on 5 hits. I don't know how many errors they had. They had 1, 2, and 3. 3 errors for the Yankees. Youch. And then it's 11 hits. 8 runs on 11 hits. And how many errors? At least 1, I believe. So, no errors for Kansas City, and that's how you win them right there. So they force a game, deciding game 5. If you want to check out any of the other on-base baseball seasons, you can go to clarkandaddisongaming.com and look at the top. You can go to baseball. You can just do the big green button, which is going to show you all of my games, and then you can filter by games or by sport on the left-hand side. We have football, basketball, and baseball, so you can check out all the different games that are available there. If you haven't clicked subscribe, but you find yourself coming back to the channel, just click on subscribe. The new videos, notifications and new videos will be put into your subscription stream, I guess, or your subscriptions, I don't know what they call it. It's like a stream of new content that comes in there. You click on subscriptions and it'll show you when the videos from your subscriptions have posted. I also get a notification in my email, so I guess that's how you like to do that. When people go live or when they post new content, you can receive those any way that you want to. That way you'll always know when new content is coming out from us. Always doing something new. So play action football is on the back burner, but still burning, simmering right now. This is a new season coming out. Up-tempo basketball is always, there's always a new season around the corner to be put out for that as well. So just trying to fill in some of the seasons. Got 40 years worth of basketball to try to fill in there. So there's a lot, to fill in over the years. Baseball is an even more of a long haul, but hopefully we can get more 80s seasons out there. I know a lot of gamers right now are focused on the 70s, 80s, some maybe the 90s, but we're probably 5 or 10 years away from the people who would be focusing on the 90s kind of coming into the hobby. So I'll put a little bit more time and effort into the 80s. If you want to try on-base baseball without paying, it's only $20 to buy a season. But if you want to try it just to see how everything works, you can get a fully carded, fully roster sheet set for free. So if you go to the website and you click the big green button, and then you look on the left side at free, if you click there, you'll see all of the resources and the demos and things like that are available. You can see the 1941 season. That 41 season has, these aren't the cards, but it has all the cards for every player from the 1941 season, pitchers and hitters. And you'll also get the roster sheets. You'll get a 1940s game engine, which looks like this. This is the 1940s game engine. You can see between these two, they are different. So I go through each decade and actually sort of craft the game engine to match the type of results you're going to get for each decade. So what do the pitchers who are in this category, how do they line up against the average batters? What do I need to kind of move or manipulate or change in order to make sure that they are hitting their marks as well? So there's a lot of variability because of these, but also you can tell here that the good players are playing well. Can't tell quite so much down here with the Yankees in this game, but if you saw some of the other, what did Reggie do in game one? So Reggie Jackson was 1 for 4. He had a single, couple runs scored. Soderholm had a couple of hits and an RBI. So the guys who are going to play well are going to play well. Brown is just sort of average, but he was 2 for 3, 2 for 4. Willie Randolph had a hit and an RBI, had a stolen base. He was on a couple of times. So the players that you would expect to play well are going to play well. So there's a lot of relative accuracy to this game. It can't be absolute just because the dice don't allow for such a thing. And because these columns, they're sort of too spread out. They have too many players in each column to be super duper precise. But whenever I look back and I was creating this game and I looked at all of the numbers, when I looked at kind of what separated each of the columns, so to speak, I was just looking at a spreadsheet of all the players. When I saw some natural separations there at these numbers, and these are based off of batting runs, which is also closely related to weighted runs above average. It's like park and era adjusted weighted runs above average. So if you're familiar with that sabermetric stat, that's what I'm using. And it basically is a comprehensive look at a person as a batter. And it's based off of WOBA, not based off of batting average. So it's based off of a better and more specific statistic for batters to see who is an actual better run producer, which is what sabermetrics really cares about, is who is producing runs and who's preventing runs. So very interesting. And we use Sierra for newer seasons. We use FIP for these classic seasons like that are pre 2002. So before 2002, we don't have all the StatCast data and things like that in order to do Sierra. So FIP has been calculated all the way back through history. So you can always find that number. Fielding independent pitching is what it stands for. And it's on an ERA scale. So when you see here a 3.68, that's equivalent to what you would think a 3.68 ERA would be. But in this case, it's taking sort of the quote unquote luck or the chance or the however you want to talk about it. It's taking your defense out of the play. It's looking at how good a pitcher is this person. So you're going to find when you look at the pitchers on here that, let's see, Gura has a 3.73 FIP, but he has a 2.95 ERA. So he was probably helped out some by his defense. So his ERA was a little bit lower. You can see here. 3.79, 3.90. So that's pretty decent for Leonard, a 4.08, but a 3.87 ERA. So his actual pitching, when you remove his defense, was a little bit worse based off of factors like giving up home runs, walking batters, hitting batters, and things like that. So things that pitchers can control, strikeouts, that type of thing. So it's an interesting look at the game, and very different, I think, than most of the games that are on the market today. And that you get two different game modes to be able to play is totally different. Like I said, you can either, this is all you would need, and really you could print both sides if you wanted to. I didn't. This is Kansas City and this is New York. You can see, I've got all of the A's on here, and most of the Mets are on here in this one. So you can just print these out and have them for reference. You can just keep them on your computer screen. Sometimes I do that. I just keep them on the computer. I don't print anything out, and I just go back and just scroll through and find the players that I need, because I'm essentially just taking that data and transferring it to the score sheet. Or you can go all the way and you can print the cards. This is the 95 Braves, and this is their starting lineup here. But where do the Braves start? The Braves start, they go all the way to here. So this is two teams. You can see that you got a lot of players. You can print them all out or not. I do the pitchers by number of innings pitched, and so you're sort of getting the main pitchers at the top of those sheets, or at the top of each team. And then for the batters, I do number of plate appearances. So you're going to get, they're divided by teams, and then within the team, they're divided by plate appearances. So you're going to get all the players who play the most sort of at the top. So you may not necessarily have to print but one or two pages for each team, depending on which players you need for that particular game. But I do give you all the players that got into a game. My cutoff is one plate appearance. Actually, I don't even think I cut off at one. I think with those sets, I've just been doing 0. So even if you get pinch runners, people who never got an official at bat or plate appearances, and they still get carded. So they just don't have they have like a 0 batting runs because they really didn't get into the game. There's not a lot to judge them by. So that is On Base Baseball. Check it out. It's a great game. You can tell that it plays very quickly, and it's got a super good flow, feels really nice, and it's kind of a vanilla game. You've got all of your, down here on the game engine chart, you've got all of your sort of rules. So what do different things mean? Whenever I'm doing fly outs or ground outs, how do I know where the ball's going? That kind of thing. So it's sort of expressed down here. And then there's a couple of, what to do on a line out to a catcher, which you can't do. Sacrifice bunts, all of your special plays are over here. And then what does it mean when there's an asterisk and that's a long single? What does it mean when there's a plus sign? That's an error check. And it's kind of a nice handy reference to have. These are also in the game guide that come with the game. You can also download the game guide, I think. There's also what I call the DIY kit. So really what I charge for is my time to put all these spreadsheets together, to gather all this data. But you can actually download the game engine chart and the score sheet and everything you need to play the game for free. So in the DIY kit, but you'll have to go out and you'll have to get the player statistics yourself. So if you don't want to do all that, then you can just pay, and you'll have the cards that you can just print and cut, and it's all just kind of there for you. But I don't actually charge for the game necessarily. You can download the DIY kit and have everything you need to play. Then you could go on to Baseball Reference or Fangraphs or whatever you wanted to use, and you could put the players on here. I would suggest Fangraphs because then you can use batting runs. There's one on Baseball Reference. It's called RBAT. RBAT. That's batting runs. So you don't have to go to Fangraphs. You can go to Baseball Reference. The numbers are slightly different because they calculate them slightly differently, but they're pretty close. So, and if you just wanted to use one number for everybody, you can use WRAA. So weighted runs above average. It's just not park adjusted and era adjusted, so it's not like really great. Batting runs is way better for cross era play. So just kind of a little bit in there. I made the game intentionally sort of vanilla and bland and basic so that you can take and bring in elements from different games. If you want to do a better stamina, if you want to do better fielding or base running or whatever, just feel free to bring in those elements or create your own charts. I give you lots of numbers to work with, and you can basically create the game that you want to create. That's the hope with on-base baseball, is that you get a little creative, and I do sort of the heavy lifting of creating the game engine and doing all that stuff, but then you can take it and finesse it and really make it the game that you want to, because a lot of gamers were sort of frustrated 4 or 5 years ago whenever I got started with this, and they were like, I don't like being boxed in. I want to create, and I want to create some new things, but sometimes the game engine limits me to be able to do that. But I wanted to free gamers to allow them to have the core of the game in place, but then on the fringes and the periphery and the details, they could create kind of whatever you wanted to create, whatever universe, whatever weather, whatever ballpark effect kind of things, just sort of the details of the game. You could do that. But if you just wanted to play a super basic game, obviously I played a whole basic game here without doing anything extra. I was just playing off of what you would see here and on this game engine chart. You can do that as well, and it plays super fast, and only takes probably 20-30 minutes a game. So it's equivalent to like an APA or a Strat, sort of in the same vein, except with sabermetric stats, which is a little bit different, and doesn't play any differently. It's just the way that it's built. It's built a little bit differently, and it's specifically made for cross era, for doing all kinds of weird things like playing 9 Barry Bonds against 9 Babe Ruths and seeing how they fare, because they are on equivalent terms. And then you could play both of those in the 1950s era. So it's kind of weird. And you can do all kinds of like little strange experiments and things like that, because it's so fluid, and everything is sort of leveled out because of the sabermetric stats. So it's definitely worth checking out. It's worth you seeing. If you have a YouTube channel and you regularly play games or review games, if you'd like to review a particular season that we have, just reach out to me at clarkandaddisongaming@gmail.com, or you can use the contact form at clarkandaddisongaming.com, and that comes to me as well. So if you have a project, or you have something you want to collaborate on, or if you want to use it for a tournament, or whatever, just reach out to me and let me know, and we can work something out. But I think that's it from here. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I think that's it from here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.